traditional, orthodox, semi-successful.
Lack of love, at least in the beginning. A lack of consent on the part of one or both parties.
Parents, partners, set up, and artificial.
Unreasonable risk, compromise, and probably stranger.
Coming from the US, all I really knew of arranged marriage were the negatives. That it's forced, there's no love, you basically commit to loving someone without even knowing them. The whole idea of arranged marriages seemed completely out of sync with my own experiences and beliefs. I knew I was not the only one with this negative perception, but I also knew that there were entire countries and cultures for whom arranged marriages are a norm. So when I came to India, I decided to investigate and learn more, rather than judge something I knew nothing about. I thought maybe what we understand of arranged marriages needed to be rediscovered. How old are you?
Yeah, 27 years old.
Okay, that's not a bad age.
No, in India it's too much. I mean, one should get married around 25 years old. So it's I have exceeded that limit.
Are you doing a love marriage or arranged marriage?
Arranged marriage.
Can you explain to me how the process works?
In India, in arranged marriage, it's like you have to provide your biodata, all your details, family background, your current salary, where you are working now, and what are your expectations from your bride or groom. You have to provide the details to your, the families. That is the first filtration criteria over there. So
is it like a resume?
Yes, it's like a resume.
Wow.
Yeah. So suppose a girl is earning more than a boy, then the boy may get rejected at the first point itself. If it is good to go ahead there or not, they will check out those things with Pandit. An astrological person who will tell that these two girls and boys are perfect and they can have a good family. That is the second criteria. So
okay.
If it is matching over there, then we will move to engagement.
Generally, when you get arranged to marry someone, how long do you know them before you marry them?
8 months at the most.
A year proper.
8 months.
Maximum a year. And then you get married.
Okay.
There is an engagement.
As in after the engagement and before the marriage. Before you get engaged to the person, you know the person for only an hour before it.
Before you get engaged, you only know them for 1 hour.
Because you get to meet only for an hour, like when he comes to your house, when the families meet, then you see the guy. And then they give you 1 hour or so, however, 2 hours, whatever, a limited time period in hours.
Get married to him.
So in those hours you have to decide, judge the person.
So do you think 2 hours is enough to know if you want to marry someone or not?
No. That's not enough.
It happens in first meeting itself. So
The first
sometimes
meeting.
you will get that clue or that feeling that yeah, this is the right person with whom I can spend the rest of my life. So that is the God gives us clue that yeah, this is the right person and this is the right match for you to go ahead with this.
In a first time, only when she saw that person's walk, she can realize how is that person.
Just from his walk?
Yes.
Wow.
If he is confident, he is caring, means even if we crossing road and if he take our hand, anyone, not your only fiancé, like because of caring, when we are crossing road and so many traffic, and if we go alone like that, means in that time immediate I can understand, array, he is only for own person, like that, selfish like that.
Do you think that it's possible to meet someone after 6 months and decide that you know them enough to marry them?
I think people do that all the time. Like not just arranged marriages, but in love marriages too. Like I think that's something particularly unique to arranged marriages as like a way of finding people.
In terms of how I want to get to know my future spouse, 6 months is not enough time. There are certain qualities that I look for in a future partner, and those things are characteristics that I think are impossible to read about on a piece of paper. It's something that you really get to know a person to find in them.
Just like on an online dating profile, the way you weed people out is by like seeing those qualities about people. And so, I mean, I guess it just does that first part for you, like it weeds people out. But I think that like the next 8 months of getting to know someone, if it happens in a more organic way, which is I think the way that arranged marriage is kind of evolving now, that it's almost like a setup for a date, and then you move forward more organically. I think that I guess it's a sustainable solution. But 6 to 8 months, I don't think there's necessarily a timeline. You know, there are people who have love marriages who get married in much less time than that. So I think that 6 to 8 months is fine for some people, maybe not enough time for others.
But how about love? Because in love marriage, you love the person before you marry them. In arranged marriage,
You start loving that person after getting married.
I think that love should be a precondition to marry someone and spend the rest of your life with them. Because getting married and not knowing if it's possible for you to make yourself love them over time just doesn't make sense to me. Because what if you can't? What if you just can't love them?
It's my roti maker. I don't know from which day I start to feeling like that, but still when I saw uncle in a day even, I feel same that feeling which I have in that first visit.
Love marriage, you like that person before you get married. I mean, you have accepted that person. But in arranged marriage, you take some time to accept that person. But yes, when you have that feeling that yes, this person is right for me, and that from that point you start loving him.
how can you know that you're gonna love the person for sure?
That is the first decision you have taken in your life, that yeah, I'll go with this person. So that means you have something in your mind that yeah, I have to make some adjustment. You have to decide that.
So you have to decide that you're gonna love the person, and you think that love will just come from that.
When you think that this is the person who is coming in that husband role, then it's automatically start.
It automatically starts.
Yes.
How?
It's always, again it's a nature, because that woman always dream about that person every day, that when we meet I will ask this, when we meet I will ask this to that person. And when she know that this person is going to be marry with me, it is very natural thing that she love with them.
Do you think that it's the same kind of love that you have for uncle?
No, not like that. Somewhere adjusting that type of love.
So it's a sort of adjustment you have to make in your life.
Okay.
You have to understand your partner, what he feels or she feels about you, and what is nature. You have to just mold like what your partner likes. So
You have to mold
yeah.
yourself to
Yourself.
become what your partner likes.
Yes.
Love is something that should happen naturally and not something that you have to like force yourself to do. That just isn't what love is supposed to be.
Love is culturally defined. If you travel all over the world, you will find different perceptions of love everywhere you go. There's no one definition for such a complex thing as love. Some people may think love is something that you let happen to you, and others think it's something you make happen. Either way, love takes time to develop, and maybe whether that time is before or after marriage isn't all that important. To me, what seems more important is the success of the marriage in terms of sustainability and genuine happiness. are you happy? Are you both committed to the success of the relationship? That's what really matters.
When you're in love with someone and you're getting married to them, a lot of times like the intensity of that emotion and the way that that pans out is not the thing that lasts. The thing that lasts is your commitment to that person and and the sort of love that is based on like continuous action and renewal over time.
So people say that the divorce rate is much lower in India than in the US, but I don't think that that necessarily speaks to the quality or happiness of people in marriage.
I'm interviewing women in Pune about domestic violence, and one woman that I interviewed who had a love marriage, her husband abuses her physically, emotionally, sexually, and she has tried to leave him many times, has filed police complaints, court orders, everything, and her parents won't do anything because she chose to marry this man, because she chose a love marriage, and so she has to suffer the consequences of her choice.
In that time, society or our relative can say, "Na, see, you decide that guy, you decide that decision." That's why now it's your turn to solve these all things. Why you include us? Because in that time you never ask us. You go and marry. That's why now it's your turn again. You decide what you want to do. But in arranged marriages, no. Every person is giving support. Every person is saying, "See, we saw a very nice family for her. But we did not understand how they can behave like that after marriage." Means they take that type of their mistake, they are sharing that mistake in a family.
In arranged marriages nowadays, we are getting much time rather than the previous one. Previous means in past years, our parents did not have that much of time for knowing each other, but they carried out their marriage very perfectly and very smoothly.
One thing I have learned, even from my own dating experiences, is how important it is to have the support of your family in choosing your life partner. I honestly believe that the support of your family, or lack thereof, plays a big role in how happy and successful your marriage is, wherever you are in the world. In India, arranged marriage is not only about the marrying of two people, but the marrying of two families, and I love that. One girl I interviewed said, "If my family is happy, I am happy." And I completely agree. You don't choose who your family is, but you love them anyway, right? Coming to India, I knew I would encounter different ways of approaching life, and I knew that different did not mean wrong. I think when you can experience different cultures and appreciate the different views that exist, you enhance your overall life experience. For myself, I want to have a love arranged marriage, meaning I know what kind of person my parents would want me to marry, and luckily I want those same things in a husband. When I find him and fall in love, I want my parents' approval to play a role in when I say I do, or in this case, we do.